Was a girl running in our group. She had a high-speed motor in a 40 Ford coupe. She had a racing cam and a Super George. Look at Buddy, hot rod and large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod.
I got to tell you, we got so much to talk about today. We always start with the recalls that are about the cars you're driving. And some of these go back a few years. These are older cars, so there's a ton of these on the road. Nissan. We talked about this, you and I, 2 weeks ago. But now NHTSA finally made it formal. I get my information on a hot wire. I'm not going to disclose where it comes from, but I find out a lot of stuff that way, and it's kind of neat. Nissan of North America, the secondary hood latch may bind and not latch on the car. Nissan Altima 2013 to 15. So that's 5 and 7-year-old cars. Whoa. On the Ford Mustang 2020, the front-facing camera is improperly calibrated. Okay, that's 2020. What does that mean? You don't know what that means. Let me just tell you. That means that the vehicle is self-stopping. And if you get too close to something, it stops. Well, you might be stopping 20 foot back, or you might not stop at all with the way this thing is talking. So that camera needs to be calibrated. You need a new camera, probably. Also, the Ford Motor Company, the Ford Transit, has a seatbelt pretensioner that may not deploy. Another safety issue. And these are safety items that don't work. Come on. A Bentley. Oh, my God. A 2020 Bentley. Is that what Rick bought, I think? It was only $400,000. That's what our boss bought. He's a big car guy. Bentley Motors, the sunroof glass panel may separate from the vehicle on your 2020 Bentley Continental GT. So for $400,000, you get a car that can't keep its roof on. Hello? Acura fuel pump, Honda and Acura. 3 weeks ago, you and I talked about this. Honda is recalling Acura's 2018 to 19. All these vehicles are 2018 or 19. All the Acuras and all the Hondas for a bad fuel pump. And I'm pretty sure I've heard of several people that had one of these in a car with over the mileage for warranty. We had to replace one on an 18, I believe. I believe we did at my shop. Nissan, we got an unintentional release of the primary hood latch. Whoa, wait a minute now. This is Nissan Altima's 2013 to 2018. So what does that mean with the other recall? If you take the first hood latch doesn't hold, and the second hood latch may release, or no, the second hood latch doesn't hold. The first hood latch may release any time. You don't know if that hood's going to come flying up over your windshield, and it will. Trust me, I've seen it done. General Motors, ABS malfunction indicator may not light. That's a Chevy. These are big trucks, 4,500, 5,500, 6,500. The check engine light or ABS light may not come on. And there's one more, V Tire and Rubber. V-E-E. Personally, I never heard of them, and it's spelled T-Y-R-E and Rubber Company. So Tire and Rubber Company, I think that's T-Y-R-E sounds like it's overseas, like in Britain. They have a recall on certain tires of theirs. If you own any of these vehicles with a V tire on it, V-E-E is the brand name, believe it or not. Ford recalls more than 2 million vehicles for faulty door latches. They still can't find a good supplier. 2015, and I had a 2015 that did this. I reported on this in 2015. They had a recall. The recall covers many Ford and Lincoln model vehicles from the 2011 to 2015 model years. The recalled vehicles may not have had all door latches replaced or correctly replaced by the dealerships under the recall issued in 2015. I told you I had one. Ford said a recalled vehicle with a faulty latch may unlatch while driving, but said it is not aware of any reports or incidents of injury related to this condition, except maybe you go flying around the corner and you fly out of the car if you don't have your seatbelt on, which I don't. The company previously recalled more than 5 million vehicles for varying door latch related issues since 2015 and has booked hundreds of millions of dollars in costs. This recall covers Ford Fiesta, C-Max, Focus, Mustang, Fusion, Escape, Transit, G Connect, Lincoln, MKZ, and MKC vehicles. So it's all of them. They got bad door latches. Trust me. I'm telling you, we talked about this 4 years ago. 4 years. And they're doing it again. Now they're recalling the recall of a recall. You tell me. About Ford recalls almost 350 of the F-150 trucks, the pickup trucks, for a brake issue. Not the kind of brake issue you're thinking. The brake master cylinder can leak brake fluid into the brake booster. I have seen this. Ford knows about 7 low-speed crashes and 2 injuries related to this issue already. So the Ford recall encompasses nearly 350,000 trucks in North America, with 292,000 of those vehicles in the U.S. affected, F-150s, and the rest are from up north, I imagine. And these are model years 2014 to 2017. So now these are 6 and 3-year-old cars. Wow. But the brake fluid leaks into there. I know we've changed a couple of them. Brake fluid and master cylinder on Ford vehicles that were mostly Crown Victorias. I think that was recalled once also. So they've had a little problem with their master cylinders on their brakes, like their door latches, for God's sakes. All these years, and they got 5 years, and they still haven't found a company that can build a decent door latch. What's up with this? I don't get it. But you know what? Mine is not the reason why. I can just tell you people about it so you know, and you're active on it. Owners, speaking of Ford, geez, the headline says, owners sue Ford over faulty Mustang transmissions. I don't know if any of you had a stick-shift Mustang lately, but these are 2011 to 2019 model year Ford Mustangs, and they're suing the automaker for what they allege are defective manual transmissions that have caused the pony cars to slip, jerk, and clash gears while shifting. Ford's had their problems with automatics lately. I know that double clutch thing in their automatic transmission in the Escort or the Focus, and that they were just terrible. A suit seeking class action status filed last year in California and transferred last month to the U.S. District Court in Eastern District of Michigan alleges Ford knew about defects, in the Getrag MT82 6-speed manual transmission. Since 2011, the lawsuit says, they have already known this. Ford has issued 7 special service messages and technical service bulletins related to shifting issues and other defects. So they know that this is there. I don't know if they realize how many it was. It's almost all of them. The transmission is defective in its design, manufacturing, and or materials in that, among other problems, the transmission slips, jerks, clashes gears, and harshly engages, has premature internal wear. Well, when you start grinding gears, you're going to have internal wear. If you can't find them, grind them. Increased shift efforts, inability to drive, and eventually suffers a catastrophic failure. In other words, the trans goes, done. They've had their moments with transes, and this is the first stick shift they've had a problem with, but they most definitely have a problem with that stick shift trans. So if you got a Mustang, and that goes back to 2011, by the by. And I know some people that have complained about their transes were junk. They didn't like them, but they were still driving them. I mean, they didn't have any catastrophic failure, not yet. They're gonna. The NHTSA has modernized an early warning reporting tool for manufacturers. This is for the car makers now. Check this out. NHTSA's Office of Defects Investigation has launched a new early warning reporting web portal for manufacturers to submit data required by law for possible safety-related defects, product non-compliance, recalls, and safety campaigns conducted outside of the United States. That's if they will, if they want to report it, because they don't have to, They can always say they didn't have that report. They didn't know that report. They didn't know about this. Yeah. Speaking of lawsuits, this was a story given to me by the boss this week. Uncle Ricky, he caught this. He picked this up in a news release at WIMS in Michigan City about the U.S. Department of Labor. This is the Wage and Hour Division. Their investigation finds General Motors owes one employee $12,265 after violating The Federal Medical Leave Act. Ooh. After an investigation by the U.S. Department of Labor's Wage and Hour Division, General Motors, GM, has paid $12,262 back wages to an employee of its Fort Wayne, Indiana assembly plant who received disciplinary suspensions for absentee allowed by the Federal Family Medical Leave Act. In other words, he wasn't there and they suspended him, so it cost him a lot of extra money. They weren't paying him for being off on his family days, because that, well, we'll go on. The Wage and Hour Division determined that GM's delay in approving the Qualified Family Matter Leave Act level lead in their employees' improper disciplinary suspensions after the employee missed work. Following WHD's investigation, GM agreed to pay back wages the employee would have earned during the suspensions and rescind unexcused absences from the employee's record and to comply with the FMLA in the future. The Family Medical Leave Act now, the Family Medical Leave Act entitles eligible employees to take unpaid job-protected leave for specified family medical reasons, which is only fair. I mean, if it's unpaid, it's unpaid. But what they did is this guy took a couple days off under the Family Medical Leave Act, and they took it as unexcused absences, and they suspended him. So that when he would have gone back to work, he wasn't there because he was suspended. Now they had to pay him back. So they're not paying him back for time off under the Leave Act. They're paying him back for time that he would have had when he was working. But they suspended him for taking time off under the Federal Medical Leave Act. Whew. It's a legal loophole or something. I don't know. It's something. But it is what it is. And the Family Medical Leave Act is a real thing. I mean, it's not a joke. And they mean to use it. And they mean to enforce it. Speaking of lawsuits and stuff, here we go. Boston lawyers for the former Green Beret and son. Oh, this is my update on Carlos the Edsel, my buddy. Man of intrigue. Lawyers for the former Green Beret and son wanted by Japan for helping former Nissan Motor Company boss Carlos Ghosn flee the country argued Monday that U.S. authorities wrongly arrested them for abiding a crime that they say does not exist in Japan, bail jumping. Do I smell a loophole here too? Lawyers for Michael Taylor and his son Peter Taylor, in a motion, asked federal judge in Boston to quash the U.S. warrants issued last month for their arrests or release them on bail while their extradition case proceeds. And if you release them, they're going to disappear, man. They're gone. As my granddaughter used to say, disappear, Grandpa. U.S. authorities arrested the Taylors in May at Japan's request for allegedly smuggling Ghosn out of the country in a box while he was out on bail, awaiting trial on financial charges. See, he was out. They let him out. That's the worst thing you can do with these spooks because they get out. They're spoosy. That's why they call them spooks. You can't find them. Their lawyers on Monday argued that neither bail jumping nor helping anyone do so are crimes in Japan. There is no such thing as bail jumping in Japan or abetting a bail jumper. So there's no such thing. And that is my, I hope, last update on Carlos the Edsel. I'm tired of Carlos. I mean, he's a man of intrigue, and he always was a lot of fun to talk about. But come on, Carlos, let it go. Come on. Jeez. Come on, don't face the music. Just stay where you're at. I know he's in Brazil, his home country, of course. Well, we got a lot of things going on in this country, and you know that. And right now we're facing some rioting and some looting and some things that are going on that are ruining peaceful protests, actually. And the car makers have stepped up to try and make things right again, trying to make things better. Let's put it that way. May not make them right, we're going to make them better. There's no way our country can be made right this fast, but it'll change. It'll happen. It'll change. But in the meantime, this all got to stop. Okay, this looting and burning and stealing. Go with the protests. Don't do the other stuff. The looters and vandals shuttered showroom windows, burned two pricey AMG performance cars, and broke windshields and spray painted 4 more vehicles at Mercedes-Benz of Oakland in California. Oh, Benz dealer. AMG performance cars. Uh-oh. The extensive damage from May 29th incident could cause could top $3.5 million. That's the estimate of Ash Zaki, CEO of Euro Motors Auto Group, which operates the dealer. And that's only a fraction of the damage to the dealers across the U.S. after the civil unrest broke out. This guy in California, or where was that? Oakland, yeah. That Mercedes-Benz dealer, it's not just Mercedes-Benz. It's called the Euro Motors Auto Group, which means he's probably got Lamborghinis and Ferraris and everything else in there, and they're spray painting and hacking on them. And come on, why do that to your automotive world? Jeez. General Motors has designated $10 million to support organizations that promote inclusion and racial justice. The company said Friday after making a public statement advocating for inclusion and an end to racism this week. The automaker's support will start with $1 million donation to the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund. Then, the company will also match employees' contributions as part of a $10 million commitment. I mean, General Motors is trying. I'm sure the rest of the other two of the big three are going to follow suit. We've got to make some changes. We got to make some adjustments, and we got to stop the looting and burning.